Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the All-American Savage Show podcast. I am your host, John Burke. Apologies for being MIA yesterday. I had two friends come into town, so I was I shouldn't say I was sidetracked hanging out with them. It was Jade and Rudy Reyes and Jade Struck, two near and dear personal friends of mine whom I love very much. They were in town for a little event, and they had to fly out very quickly, so I only had managed to squeeze in some lunch with them, but always a great time hanging out with just two wonderful people. God bless them, love them to death. A lot of news that has been going on. I saw Zelensky had addressed Congress, and of course he received a standing ovation. We're seeing more and more press or MSM trying to push for more American involvement in Ukraine. And there's some other stories I want to get to on the podcast today. This makes Wednesday here outside of Dallas, Texas. It's actually a beautiful sunny day today. It's got to be at least the mid to low 70s. It feels incredible out. Of course, Josh is still on his vacation. We miss Josh, hence why you got the shitty intro music. Once he comes back, the podcast will resume its normal professional sounding appearance. Until then, you're stuck with me and the shit that I do from my phone. That's right. I am not a musical engineer. I am not a podcast engineer. That is Josh. Josh is the brains of this outfit. I just come up here and just spew my whatever. So, anywho, let's get into this day in history, and then we're going to go straight into the news. So, this day in history, the United States Military Academy, the first military school in the United States, is founded by Congress for the purpose of educating and training young men in the theory and practice of military science. Located at West Point, New York, the U.S. Military Academy is often simply known as West Point. Located on the high west bank of New York's Hudson River, West Point was the site of Revolutionary-era fort built to protect the Hudson River from the British attack. In 1780, Patriot General Benedict Arnold, the commander of the fort, agreed to surrender West Point to the British in exchange for £6,000. However, the plot was uncovered before it fell into British hands, and Arnold fled to the British for protection. 10 years after the establishment of the U.S. Military Academy in 1802, the growing threat of another war in Great Britain resulted in congressional action to expand the Academy's facilities and increase the West Point Corps. Beginning in 1817, the U.S. Military Academy was reorganized by Superintendent Sylvanus Theater, later known as the father of the West Point, and the school became one of the nation's finest sources of civil engineers. During the Mexican-American War, West Point graduates filled the leading ranks of victorious U.S. forces, and with the outbreak of the Civil War, former West Point classmates regretfully lined up against one another in defense of their native states. And that concludes this day in history. Oh, man. I want to make it known that at the end of the podcast today, we're giving away another tanker with Tipsy's & Co. We got aftershave, cologne, and body wash. We got a different kind of tankard this time. I wanted to show this to you guys so you get a better look at it. We've got the fractal burn kind. This is where I took a microwave transformer and burned the ever-loving shit out of this tankard. It looks beautiful. It's sealed. Again, can take hot and cold liquids, but you only can be entered to win by being a subscriber over on Twitch. It does come with a built-in bottle opener on the bottom. Takes hot and cold liquids. Do not put it in the microwave or dishwasher. Wash it with lukewarm, soapy water. And again, you can see it. These did incredibly well. Normally, I think we sold these for about $90 because, again, the process takes a long time. But it looks incredible. You've got electrical marks throughout the tankard. Beautiful, handcrafted, made right here in America. So that's going to be what's given away today. And then tomorrow, we've got this other beautiful tankard. It's a mix match. We tried some things out. Again, comes with a built-in bottle opener. This will be given away tomorrow. So we appreciate that love and support. But you can only be entered to win by being a subscriber only over on Twitch. So yeah, we appreciate that love and support, guys. We really thank you very much. Miss Josh. Miss him so much. I'm just sitting here talking to myself on this podcast. Oh, my God. All right, let's get into it. Russia is on the verge of a $150 billion debt default as sanctions cripple the economy. Russia owes $117 million in interest on $2 denominated bonds. Russia is spiraling closer to a historic debt default that could ripple throughout the global economy if the U.S. and its European allies hit the Kremlin with a slew of crippling financial sanctions. Moscow's invasion of Ukraine nearly 1 month ago, the biggest attack on a European state in decades, elicited a raft of economic penalties from Western nations, including cutting off a key part of the central bank of Russia by preventing it from selling dollars, euros, and other foreign currencies and its roughly $630 billion reserve stockpile. The financial fallout has prompted credit rating agencies to downgrade their long-term debt rating from the Russian government to junk status, which, with Fitch warning that international sanctions have brought a huge shock to Russia's credit fundamentals. It noted additional sanctions remain as a distinct possibility. Russia has grasped for a way to soften the blow. The central bank more than doubled its key interest rates to 20% in early March after some banks removed the SWIFT financial system and the West froze a significant portion of its currency reserves. I saw a tweet about this, and a friend of mine had sent me this, and it's from Cernovich. Cernovich says something here that actually piqued my curiosity. He makes a good point here, and I just wanted to read this to y'all because my mind isn't made up on this, and I guess we're just get to see the outcomes of what happens before we kind of really know if this is effective or not. But listen to what he tweeted out. It says, corporations acting as sovereign actors in a hot war have made negotiations to end the Ukraine conflict impossible. Putin could have saved face had his economy not been tactically nuked. The implications of cancel culture as a weapon of mass destruction weren't considered. There's a lot to that. There's a lot to that. I want to read that for you one more time. It says, corporations acting as sovereign actors in a hot war have made negotiations to end the Ukraine conflict impossible. Essentially, what he's meaning here is that all the cancel culture companies that have went after Russia essentially have forced Putin into a corner. He says, Putin could have saved face had his economy not been tactically nuked. The implications of cancel culture as a weapon of mass destruction weren't considered. So essentially saying that being that the world is trying to cancel Putin, it's essentially you've removed from him ain't all reasons not to, or to negotiate. I don't know if I agree with this or not, but it definitely is some good food for thought. Is this going to make Putin double down? Like, say, for example, if his economy was doing good, but he's losing his military conflict, his military invasion, do you think he'd be more open to negotiations versus now you've tanked his economy and he's fighting for survival? Like, it's a very good question. And I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. Like, what are the lasting effects, long-term effects of all these mega corporations canceling out Russia? I mean, that's very interesting to me. And I'm not saying I'm for or against it, or I agree or disagree, but it's just kind of one of those observations like, I'm wondering what the economic outcome or the long-term ripple effects of this massive cancel culture of all these major corporations towards Russia. What's the outcome of this going to be? You know, if I put myself in Putin's situation and I've attacked a country and I've essentially lost all credibility on the international stage, banks are coming after me. You know, Putin is just he's a very arrogant, prideful man. Is he going to be able to back down from the Ukraine invasion, say, hey, I fucked up, let's resume, yada, yada, yada? Because honestly, the only way this comes out is if Putin takes a massive loss, he withdraws back to Russia, and then he's going to have to negotiate a lot of things with the UN, which is going to put him at a severe economic disadvantage. Because if you really think that we're going to go back to normal trade with Russia and how things operated before, no, there's going to be penalties involved now, which is going to piss Putin off. And Putin knows this. So he's going to double down on winning over Ukraine, I'd imagine. And this is me speculating. Again, I am by no means an expert, but this is me just thinking out loud. I'm just kind of like, I don't know. Like, I think Cernovich makes a really good point here. And I don't know, like I said, I don't know if he's right or wrong on this. I'm just sitting here thinking, it's like, if I was Putin and I had, massive corporations like McDonald's and things like Coca-Cola pulling from Russia, saying we're no longer doing business with you, yada, yada, yada. Banks are just basically marking up their freaking interest rates. They're essentially canceling you economically. Your economy's done. What would you do? It's a very good question. I don't have an answer to that, but I liked it because it was thought-provoking. And I just wanted to share that with you, the listener, just to get your mind wondering on that. Like the negative effects of cancel culture on a dictator, a mad dictator, what's it going to do? What's it going to do? And I don't know. I don't know. We're in some kind of like social experiment, economic social experiment. We had cancel culture being weaponized against the left and the right here in America. But now it's being levied against an entire country. Now, here's the other part about that I don't agree with these sanctions on Russia as a whole, is because there have been so many Russian people out there that have nothing to do with this war that are actively saying they are against this war. Putin is silencing them. He's imprisoning them. But ultimately, it's the citizens that are suffering. Now, please don't get this conflated with how Ukrainian citizens are suffering as well. Neither of them deserve this. Ukraine, the whole invasion thing, idiot thing to do on Putin. I get why he did it, though. But it's still saying, like, it's like if innocent people are dying in Ukraine, innocent people are suffering in Russia, it just seems like it's all the innocent people suffering by the big heads of government that don't really give a shit. I'm kind of at a loss on this, so. But I got tagged in this story a bunch, I think yesterday, the day before. It's a smart move. It's a smart move to play here. Russian lawmaker demands return of Alaska, California fort, and reparations amid U.S.-led sanctions. He's taking a play right out of the BLM handbook on this one, and I can't fault the dude. He knows how much leverage this type of woke mentality will have. Now, he's not going to gain any traction on the left. I think that's who he's trying to appeal for here. Like, you're saying that we want these things back. It's like, what? You kidding me? It's like, you just invaded another country. You got slapped with sanctions, and now you're demanding that we return Alaska. I mean, honestly, if they really wanted it, I'd give them California. Like, hey, you can't have Alaska, but we will definitely give you California. All you have to do is you provide the explosives on the San Andreas fault line. We'll blow that motherfucker, and we will just let it kind of drip. We'll tugboat that motherfucker across the sea to you, and you can have it. If you want to deal with California, by all means, you have at it. Maybe that's what California needs. I don't know. I mean, honestly, you're just swapping one dictator for another at this point. So, I mean, I think we should take a vote on this. If Putin, it'd just be one of those things like best I can do. It's like that Pawn Stars, like best I can do is California. So let's keep Alaska and let's give them California. I'm okay with this. So conservatives in these California, these cities that lean right, I would highly advise, if this does go through, get out of, it's already California. It's close enough. Let's just blow the fault line and just let it drift. I mean, California already wanted to secede. So it's like, if you want to secede, that's fine. Now you just got to fight Russia because they want to take you over. Oh, that would really, I wonder, like, if that was actually, I'm sorry. I know it's a joke, but I cannot believe they have the audacity to ask or say that we demand. Like, hold on, let me just read this article. I barely scanned it when I was tagged in it a few times on Instagram. And I'm just like, of course they're going to ask for this. This is so outlandish and ridiculous, but of course. Parliament member Oleg Matveyev listed his demands during a Sunday interview on a state-owned news program. A Russian lawmaker made an outlandish demand over the weekend that the United States return Alaska, an historic settlement in California, in addition to paying reparations to Russia over crippling American-led sanctions that have put Moscow's economy in a tailspin. Well, okay, let's address the sanctions. You knew this was going to happen. You cannot tell me that Putin did not know sanctions were going to be slapped on him for what he's doing in Ukraine. To deny that is to basically say that Putin's an idiot. Putin is not an idiot. He knew this was coming. So this guy to sit there and say, you've done this to our country through your sanctions. You invaded another sovereign country. Excuse me. You invaded another sovereign country. What did you think was going to happen? The entire world's going to come after you. They're just doing it through sanctions, through economic sanctions, which they've done repeatedly. This is not the first time this has actually happened. So that's kind of news to me that this guy would be like, why are you doing this? You destroyed our economy. It's like, yes, after you've murdered a lot of Ukrainians. Absolutely. Oleg Matveyev, a member of the State Duma, outlined on Russia state television a set of demands for the U.S. and Ukraine after Kiev's demilitarization is completed. The Express newspaper in the United Kingdom reported. The demands include the return of Alaska, which the U.S. purchased from the Russian Empire in 1867 as part of the Alaska Purchase, and the former Russian settlement of Fort Ross, California, 90 miles north of San Francisco. Wait. Hold on. I gotta answer this. I gotta read this again one more time. Return of Alaska, which the U.S. purchased from the Russian Empire in 18... So you're saying you want us to return it. I mean, you're not even making an offer to buy it back, and you don't have any money to buy it back with. So you're just saying, like, hey, I know you have bought this from us in 1867, and we negotiate deal. We give to you, we sell. But, we kind of want it back. Okay, well, how much are you offering? Well, we just want it back. So you're not going to offer any. Well, we don't have any money. You put sanctions on us. We broke. We have no money. Ruble worth nothing. But we give you smile and maybe vodka. I don't know. Your people pour down drain and protest. I don't know. But we want it back. Best I can do is California. If I was the president, I would definitely negotiate this. Like, hey, we're not going to give you Alaska. Fuck no. But we will give you California. And hell, let's throw New York into the deal as well. Let's give them New York. Let's do it. And good luck. Good luck with that. I mean, you're going to be dealing with a lot of pink-haired, blue-haired, little fat, overweight, septum ring having lesbians, and good luck with that, you know. And Putin will have a lot of protests on his hands, but I'm sure he knows how to handle them. Yeah. Then these people that claim they're so oppressed in America will actually see what real oppression is. So that'd be kind of funny. They should make a TV series out of that. They should. Life in Russia. California, life in Russia. I would watch that. I legitimately would. I would watch all these protesters, all these like skinny beta dudes, like just skin and bones, like with their like shitty ass tattoos, holding up these cardboard signs, their cut off t-shirts and weird fucking hair, simping for these e-thoughts and shit out there protesting. Putin's like, oh, I hate Putin so much. And then boom, secret police come and just haul them off. Like, you know, I'm for the freedom of speech, but you know, that right there, I'd pay to see that. I would. Just to see these little freaking SJWs get... I mean, imagine Antifa being out there. That'd be great. That would be so great to see Antifa protesting the Kremlin. We're here to stop these... But bam! Bullet to the head. Beat down in the public square. I would love to see that. I would love to see that. Only Antifa, though, because they have it coming. Oh my God. You can't make this up. We should be thinking about reparations from the damage that was caused by the sanctions and the war itself, because that too costs money and we should get it back. What? The money we spent on this illegal war, we should be returned by America because you sanction us. You know, wars cost money. Illegal wars cost money. And, you know, we should get paid back for money we invest to retake Ukraine from America because you impose sanctions as a result of our actions. What world are we living in? What world are we living in? Florida man says, I read a story about a 20-something model who called Putin a psycho being found dead and stuffed to a suitcase. Yeah, that was Fox. I was going to cover that story. That was a clickbait title. She was murdered by her boyfriend. Stuffed into a suitcase, and then like he drove 300 miles and dumped the body. Had nothing to do with her criticizing Putin. That's Fox pushing more propaganda, a clickbait title. That was bullshit. I fell for it too, because like, wait, what? I mean, it doesn't surprise me. It does. We see what Putin's doing to the protesters in Moscow. But yeah, Fox, they're just as bad as CNN. And look, I gotta say this. I gotta say this to Fox, CNN, Daily Wire, Daily Beast, all of these MSM outlets. Let me just put this out there for the world to hear, okay? I think that this needs to be said. And I think I speak on behalf of the overwhelming majority of not just America, but the fucking world. Okay? Turn your radio up because I want you to hear this. This podcast reaches hundreds of thousands of people, and I'm appreciative for that. If you're a journalist, if you are a writer for any of these organizations that I've mentioned, let me be clear. Nobody, I repeat, once more for emphasis, nobody gives a flying fuck about Pete Davidson, Kanye West, and Kim Kardashian. Nobody fucking cares. If a meteor struck the earth about the size of a golf ball and eliminated those three wastes of life, I would be applauding. Why the fuck are you writing about this bullshit? This online drama. You've got more stories than you can shake a stick at coming at you nonstop from what's going on in Ukraine, or the world much less, and you want to cover these fucking retards, these elite celebrities that are just so off the fucking wall with their insanity? Nobody fucking cares, and this is why nobody takes you seriously. Daily Wire, I expected better from you. Now, I know that you have to pander to the entertainment crowd, but for fuck's sakes. The baby mama drama is stupid, and nobody gives a fuck. Stop pandering for clicks and headlines. Stop it. Daily Wire, you're better than that. You're better than that. Stop it. Every time I go on MSM to start looking over the stories of what's happening, all I see in my face is Pete Davidson, Kanye West, Kim Kardashian. Dude, Nobody fucking cares. And the people that do are idiots. They are the mental peasant class that I want nothing to do with. Stop entertaining the peasants. Stop it. Give them other shit. Like, create a different website just for the stupid people out there. Well, I mean, they do. It's called CNN and Fox. But it's ridiculous. Nobody fucking cares. I should probably tweet that out later. I think I can speak on behalf of a lot of people. A lot of people that feel and echo these very same sentiments. So Kanye, shut the fuck up. Pete Davidson, you look like a methed out crackhead. Kim, shut the fuck up. Like nobody fucking, like, I just, this is what happens in America when you have this as your entertainment. Drama. People's drama. It's fucking ridiculous. It's fucking ridiculous. He also called for the return of all Russian properties, those of the Russian Empire, the Soviet Union, current Russia, which has been seized in the United States, and so on. Afterwards, he was asked if he meant Alaska and Fort Ross. That was my next point, as well as the Antarctic. He said, "We discover it, so it belongs to." Gee, shut the fuck up. All this sounds like is we are getting asses kicked, so we take ball and go home. The sale of Alaska marked the end of the Russian Empire's trade expansion and settlement efforts to the Pacific coast of the U.S., according to the State Department. The territory was sold to the U.S. government for $7.2 million. Opponents of the sale labeled it Seward's folly, referring then Secretary of State William H. Seward, who was a proponent of American expansion. The label failed to stick after 1896, when hundreds of thousands of people migrated to the territory in search of gold. A Russian colony was established, Fort Ross on California's Sonoma coast, in 1812. After several years of struggling to grow crops and tensions with Americans in the area, the property was sold in 1841 after it became clear that the area was a financial liability, according to the Fort Ross Conservancy. The demands made by Machev are likely to be ignored as the U.S. ratchets up sanctions on Moscow over its invasion of Ukraine. On Monday, the State Department announced fresh sanctions on President Alexander Lukashenko, the Kremlin's ally, and Belarus, and 11 other Russian officials. On Tuesday, Moscow imposed retaliatory sanctions against President Biden and administration officials. White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki brushed off the potential impact the measures could have. Right now, again, Putin is backed into a corner. He's going to lash out in any way he can. But a lot of this is just insanity. To sit there and demand back properties that you sold us, just because you got your pee-pee smacked? No, that's ridiculous. These are the people that are leading the world. These are the people that are leading the world. Dude, this is so stupid. I can't even put into words to describe how ignorant this is. You are leaders of the world, and you're essentially saying, being you started this war, you're getting your asses kicked, you are financially just in the gutter. Now you have the audacity to start making demands of the United States. It seems like we live in a world where we can just say anything. It's just crazy to me. You have the audacity to sit there and say, we want it back. You're lucky. I mean, I'll be honest with you. You're lucky that America has not went full on invade Russia, bomb Russia. You're very lucky. Well, your military is strung out in Ukraine, and Putin's not stupid, but you're insanely lucky. Because I'm telling you, it's not going to be good if this continues to spiral out of control. This honestly does have me worried. It does have me worried. This is one of those issues where both sides of this they're in the wrong. And like I've said repeatedly, I don't want to get involved. America should not get involved in this. Biden's handling it the right way. Do not commit troops. We're respecting our NATO allies. But again, there's another story coming out that there comes a time where you've got to cut it. You got to cut that foreign aid. We've already sent them a lot of money. A lot of money. Actually, here's that article right here. This is from CNN. Biden will announce $800 million in security assistance for Ukraine, officials say. $800 million. President Joe Biden is expected to announce an additional $800 million in security assistance to Ukraine on Wednesday, a White House official told CNN, bringing the total to $1 billion announced in just this last week. Okay, we've done enough. We've done enough. Like, I want to know where this money is going. Where is this money going? And here's the deal. I don't like just... No. No. I don't believe in sending them money. Send them actual equipment. And the reason for that, it's like, say like, for example, you see a drug dealer on the streets or a drugged out guy. He's like, hey, can I have $5 for a burger? I give him that $5. Do I know what this guy is actually going to do with it? Probably not. He's probably going to spend it on drugs. But if I go buy him a burger, I guarantee it's going to be used for what, unless he's going to trade a burger for drugs, which I doubt. Last I checked, I don't think drug dealers deal with burgers. You know, it's like, hey, I realize Biden's talking about Ukraine right now. I'll watch it after the show. Point being is, we're sending all this money. Where's the oversight? Do we know 100% what they're spending it on? Who are they purchasing the weapons from is the other thing I want to know. I'm not against giving them weapons and equipment needed to fight off Russia. That's our support, I guess. But at the same token, where is this money going? Almost $1 billion. Almost $1 billion of yours and my money. I mean, quite honestly, I'm not really directly in favor of supporting Ukraine financially. I believe more in supporting our NATO allies, and Ukraine is not NATO. They didn't want to, it's just not it. I'm sorry, Kamala. I know you don't understand that. She thinks that Ukraine is a part of NATO. They're not. We have no alliance. We have no responsibility. And when I say we, I mean the people. Whatever our elected officials did prior, that's on them. Dangerfoo says, have you heard of the Azov Battalion? Yes, I have. We talked about it on the show before. The left isn't acknowledging that. And the ones on the left that do acknowledge the Azov Battalion are simply saying, like, oh, it's just a small fringe of people. They're in the Ukrainian National Guard. They're sanctioned. They're known. They're supported. So all the left out there that wants to fight the Nazis for the last 4 years under Trump, that you're now supporting Ukraine, they have legit Nazis in their ranks. And you're still, again, can y'all not see? Can y'all not see? This is not our war. This is not our war. It's ridiculous. It's just one massive clusterfuck. But just watch the MSM. I titled this episode, MSM's Pushing Hard. We see people on the left and the right, these MSM outlets, talking about Zelensky's address to Congress. Emotional, tear-jerking responses from Congress members, standing in unanimous praise. You know, I was driving down 75 South, and I saw this one company on the side of the road had a Ukrainian flag flying. And I'm just sitting there thinking, it's like, wow, the press really has this country brainwashed. Social media really has this country brainwashed. And people are buying into it hook, line, and sinker. Well, don't you care about people dying that are being invaded? Well, did you care? Unless the press put it in your face 24/7? No. I don't know. I don't know. The one thing I do know, though, I don't want to send American women to die for this. I don't. The package of military assistance will include anti-tank missiles and more of the defensive weapons that the U.S. has already been providing, including Javelin, anti-tank, and Stinger aircraft missiles. Officials familiar with the plan said the assistance, however, will stop short of the no-fly zone or fighter jets the Ukrainian President Zelensky has said are necessary to sustain Ukraine's fight against Russia. Again, we've covered in the previous episodes, a no-fly zone would pull us into a war. We can't enforce that. Zelensky keeps asking for it because he knows that's what's going to pull us in. He knows that. He's not stupid. If he gets NATO and the U.S. to enforce a no-fly zone, which means essentially controlling the airspace, not allowing Russia freedom of maneuver in the air, that's an official declaration of war. Now we're committing troops. It's just not on the ground, they're in the air. Same difference. Zelensky knows this. He's going to try and push America to do it. It's smart of Biden not to do it. Biden will deliver his own remarks later Wednesday. Apparently he's doing it right now. Given that Zelensky is expected to be specific in his request, officials say to also expect Biden to be specific about what assistance the new $800 million will go towards in Ukraine, including potentially the armed drones that Zelensky has called for. Officials have declined to confirm whether armed drones will be included in Biden's remarks or whether a decision was finalized. The $800 million in security assistance comes from the massive spending bill the president signed into law on Tuesday, which includes $13.6 billion total in new aid to Ukraine. Oh. Did you see this? I got to look this up. I don't know if this is true or not. Let me just look this up real quick. Somewhere, somebody had told me that Congress had a 21% raise. I'm trying to see where there are any articles about this. I'm failing to see anything here. But I'd see that Congress apparently had given itself a 21% increase in its raise. I don't know if it's true or not. I saw a lot of people circulating those articles, and it's like I have never really looked it up. But I'm looking now. I'm not seeing anything. It's old, outdated articles. House votes pay raises. That's from back in 2021. Let me see 2022. 6 days ago, the spending bill. Let me see if that's a part of it. Oh, shit, I clicked on the wrong thing. No, that is the right thing. I don't know. Let's look this up real quick. Legislative branch bill boosts members' representational allowance, Capitol Police. Low pay morale could be addressed with additional funds. What? Low pay and morale should be addressed with additional funds? Are you fucking kidding me? This can't be real. I mean, it's a real article. This is from, who is this from? This is from rollcall.com. I'm not sure who this is. Legislative branch bill boosts members. Blah, blah, blah. As a part of the $1.5 trillion omnibus spending bill released Wednesday, the $5.9 billion fiscal 2022 legislative branch funding portion would substantially boost the office budgets of House members to pay staff more and seeks to enable the Capitol Police Department to hire more officers. The bill marks a $625 million or 11.8% increase over the fiscal 2021 funding level. Low pay and high turnover have plagued workers on Capitol Hill for years, a shared sentiment that has led to a growing movement by some staffers to unionize. Oh, wow. This legislation provides $774.4 million of the members' representational allowance known as the MRA, which funds the House office budgets for lawmakers, including staffer salaries. This $134.4 million or 21% boost over the previous fiscal year marks the largest increase in MRA appropriations since its authorization in 1996, according to a bill summary by the House Appropriations Committee. For paid interns and member and leadership offices, the House would get $18.2 million. In August, Nancy Pelosi announced staffer salaries could exceed those of lawmakers. Members in both the House and Senate, with the exception of leadership, make an annual salary of $174,000. Staffers can make up to, shut the fuck up. Staffers can make up to $199,300. The MRA increase would allow those at the lower end of the pay scale, such as staff assistants, to be paid more. Members would not receive a pay increase under the bill, a point of contention for years. Okay, but why are we increasing salaries of staffers and not decreasing salaries of congressmen and women and making up the difference there? What? Basic business model. If I'm wanting my employees to stick around, do at a higher turnover rate, I should probably pay them more. If I'm paying them more, it means I have to cut down my personal margins, my personal paycheck. That sounds fair to me. If Congress wants to pay its staffers more, then take that out of your paychecks. Don't ask for more money from us. You already get it. It's ridiculous. This isn't the way it works. If you want more money to pay your staffers, take it out of your paychecks. They're not going to do that. They're not going to touch it. The Capitol Police Department will get $602.5 million, an increase of the $87 million over the 2021 fiscal year. Wait, now suddenly Democrats support financing the police? What? Are you kidding me with this? I thought you wanted to defund the police. Then the supposed insurrection happens on January 6th, and now you want to fund the police? I wish you'd make up your mind, Democrats. I really wish you'd make up your mind. And then Psaki has the audacity to say that defund the police was a Republican move. No, ma'am. That was a move initiated by the BLM and the liberal left. That was you. But then you get people protesting at your doorsteps. You have shit security cops. And now you want more money to fund the police? You got to be kidding me with this. This is insane to me. And nobody sits there in Congress and says, you know what? Maybe this isn't such a good idea to give a pay raise to these staffers when we just ask for more money. Instead, what if we just said, hey, Congress, we're reducing our annual salary by $20,000 each. Or leave it up to the individual congressman. If we believe in a capitalistic system, leave it up to the congressman or woman. Say, hey, this is what I pay my staffers. If you want to stay, you can stay. If you have a high turnover of staffers, then maybe you should pay them more. Cut some out of your friggin' budget. Cut some out of your salary. Right? Makes sense. Nah. Why the hell would we do that? This bill is essentially keeping our democracy and the legislative branch of government functioning in a safe and accessible manner. Bullshit. Bullshit. That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. The explanatory statement calls for the architect. I can't even finish reading this. I can't. It's just mind-boggling to me. I can't. Yeah. Hey, good news, though. USA Today names transgender Biden official as one of its Women of the Year. Rachel Levine, Assistant Secretary of Health and Human Services, made the list honoring women. That's right. Nothing screams feminism and women's rights by nominating a man as your Woman of the Year. Like, what? This is where we're at. This is where we're at. Look, I'm not against transgender people. Like, you do what you want. It's your body. You do what you want. But it does not make sense to me how you are now going to subvert actual biological women and put men in their place. I am just at a loss with this. USA Today included a transgender government official appointed by President Biden in their 2022 Woman of the Year list. Rachel Levine, Assistant Secretary for Health at Health and Human Services, appeared to be the only transgender woman included in the publication's list of women they wanted to honor. What has he done? It's crazy to me. Trans women are women. No, they're not. They're men. Sorry. I know you don't like that, but that's just tough shit. That's just the way it goes. Biologically, you don't get to argue science. It's in the chat. That's funny to me. Like, you sit there and say, trans women are women. Trust the science. Biologically, the science says completely different. Let me ask you this. Let me pose a question to the trans women or women provocateur in my Twitch chat. Let me ask you this. If I identify as a dog, does that now make me a dog? Is that okay? I'm just curious. If I say I am now a dog, am I a dog? D-Ace, in my chat? No, don't leave. Don't leave. You can stay. You can stay. Just answer my question. If I identify as a dog, do you now have to refer to me as a dog? And then you do your little heart-shaped emoji? Trans species are real species, right? Don't leave. I mean, can I be transracial? Can I go from black to white? I'm just curious on this. I'm very curious. Being a dog isn't a gender as far as I know. How do you know? Who are you to dictate what genders can exist and what can't? Aren't there thousands of genders out there, as your side has talked about and discussed? Is a dog, is a canine not a gender? I thought genders are breaking social stereotypes. I'm just curious on that. I mean, Curious on that. Nobody's going to say anything on that? Okay. I didn't think so. Oh, my little lost savages in the chat. You're right there with me. Oh, my God. Trans women are women. No, they're not. I have no hatred for you. I personally think that you need help. But I would never condone any violence towards transgender people. It's not what I'm saying. But I do find it to be very interesting. I find it to be very interesting that you talk about a man becoming a woman who has no womb, no ovaries, goes through no menstrual cycle, does not deal with any of the emotional issues that women deal with as a result of the hormones in their bodies. Their biological makeup is completely different. But if a cat now says it's a dog, then you say that cat is a dog. This is the insanity of that our country has embraced. But hey, continue going down this road. I want it now known that I identify as a dog, and you will refer to me henceforth as Fido. That's my new name. You got to respect it. My pronouns are woof. Fido Burke, that's me. That's my gender. I am a trans species. Follow the science. Every day across our country, USA Today's Women of the Year lead and inspire, promote, and fight for equity. Give others a place to seek help, find hope. They are strong, resilient women who have been champions of change and courage, often quietly, but with powerful results. Blah, 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 blah. Again, this is someone that you have as deputy from Health and Human Services, and they're transgender. There's a clear psychological disconnect. There's a clear psychological disconnect between the genitalia and the brain. There is an issue here. There clearly is. And you want to celebrate this man as being a woman? You do realize that in you doing this, you are undermining and devaluing actual women. But you don't care about that. Why should you? Instead, your inclusivity, your hot takes on being inclusive and fair and all this other stuff, that takes precedence. But to hell with the women that it actually impacts, right? Kind of like the transgender swimmer that's crushing all the women competitors. The transgender MMA fighter that beat the fuck out of his female opponent that was a prior Green Beret. You don't care about that. You just love the optics of it all because it makes you look good. It makes you feel good. You can beat your chest and wave your little trans flag and talk about trans rights. Last I checked, you have all the rights that the rest of us have. I'm not sure what rights you don't have. Do you people not seem to understand or realize that the more insanity that you embrace and welcome into your party, the faster it's going down in flames? The don't say gay bill should be the don't be a groomer bill. You're in full support of that, trying to educate our youth, 6, 7-year-olds on sex. And people, honestly, respect people's pronouns is not that hard. I don't give a fuck about your pronouns. The world does not revolve around you. You're either a man or a woman. You're a sir or a ma'am. That's all there is to it. Your pronouns, I don't give a shit about. And if it bothers you so much, not my problem. The world should not tiptoe around your triggers. You should deal with that. So this idea of the world should change to appease your individual needs, fuck out of here with that bullshit. Because for being so tolerant, for being so acceptance and so empowered and strong, it was really funny to me how the transgender community broke the fuck down over Dave Chappelle's comedic special. Your pronouns are ridiculous. It's just attention seeking at core. That's all it is. Respect my man. Fuck your pronouns. Give a shit about your pronouns. I'll put it this way. Anyone who I look up on Twitter and they have pronouns in their bio, I automatically lose respect for. I automatically bro, because you have cis privilege. If that's whatever you think, I really don't care. Welcome to the world that we live in. So you and your pronouns can go get fucked. I don't care. There's a lot of people here that don't care. Now, you can go hang out with your other mentally deranged grooming types. You feel free to do that. And you can misgender and mispronoun all you want. You can claim that a woman can be a man can be a woman, and that trans women actually bleed from their... Well, they bleed... Well, what is it exactly they bleed from? I'm very curious about that. What is it exactly that transgender women bleed from? Because they're actually women, right? Can anyone explain that one for me? No? Okay. Clear science deniers, clearly unhinged people. And you know the majority of these people are from the Zoomer generation? Young kids that really don't know what the fuck they're talking about. These are the people that want to educate us. Please educate me more. I'm sorry. It'd be the same as like getting my news from a TikToker. An 18-year-old little freaking e-thought wanting to dance around on TikTok for views, like has the audacity to sit there and tell me what to think about the war in Ukraine. What the fuck do you know about life? These people, these children, there came a time before social media that if you were young, you were told to shut up. You don't know anything. That's the kind of society we need to go back to. Oh, ageism much? Yes, very much so. I don't give a fuck what you have to say. If you're 15, 16, 17 years old, I don't give a shit. You don't know anything. You don't even pay taxes. What real world experience do you have? Please elaborate for me more. A little 18-year-old on TikToks with 10 million followers, parroting the talking points that Psaki and the Biden administration had spoon-fed them. Well, hey guys, it's me. I'm an influencer on TikTok, and these are the 5 dances you can do to help support Ukraine. Yay. What? This is how stupid we become as a country. This is how stupid we are. And they told me to tell you guys that the infatuation is up 8%. Inflation? What's inflation? Yeah, it's up like 7.8% because Putin, who's the mean biggie poo-poo face, invaded the Ukraine. Now let me do my TikTok dance. Yeah, TikTok, clicks, yeah. But I'm somebody because I have a lot of followers and I'm very intelligent. Yeah, buy my supplement package. Really? What a world we live in. What a fucking world we live in. These stupid little retarded children. Like, tell them to shut the fuck up. And what's better is the Biden administration knows exactly what they're doing. They're influencing the youth. Because the youth then in turn around. They're more active. Those are the activist generation right there. Biden knows exactly what he's doing. This is propaganda 101. Propaganda 1. Hey guys, my name is Xavier. I'm a male influencer. I like to do cool dances and I do unboxing for like various different programs out there. But hey, did you know that we should fight for Ukraine? Oh, that's interesting, Xavier. What about the Nazis? Well, I hate Nazis. Nazis are bad. Well, yes, but what about the Nazis actually fight? Well, Nazis are just, they're not good people. And we should hate Nazis. Putin's just a mad duty face. Watch as I do my TikTok dance too. These people are so fucking unhinged. And these kids watch these TikToks and think they're making it. Like there is a literal article going around saying top 5 TikTok dances you can do to support Ukraine. What the fuck? This is slacktivism. This is where we're at in our country. This is what social media has created for us. Hey, I stand with Ukraine. I'm going to change my flag and my Twitter handle to Ukrainian flag. Well, that's cool and all, but what else? Well, that's about it. So you're not doing anything. Well, I'm dancing on TikTok. If I had the time or the energy, I would love to film a skit of like pretending to be two Ukrainian soldiers in the middle of a bombed out, shelled out city, like fighting back against the Russians. And one of them's on his phone going like, they're supporting us by doing TikTok dances on TikTok. And the dude's just like engaging the Russians like, oh, that makes me feel better. That's great. He's just sitting like pop, like rounds are coming in. Like dudes are getting fucking drilled, spun around, blood spurting out of everywhere. Like, I know you're dying and leg is blown up, but look at TikTok dances. They support us. Yes, look, Ukraine flag in bio. Hey. Maybe we can throw TikTok phones at them. What if we did this deal? What if we did a deal? I would be willing to negotiate a deal, to broker a deal with Russia. We will give you California and we'll give you all the TikTok influencers the Biden administration briefed, the 31. That's a fair deal. And in fact, I'll pay you. I will personally donate $5,000 if we can broker a deal with Russia and they take California and all the TikTok influencers with them. I think that's fair. I think that's very fair, right? I mean, hey, their economy is down. They're not doing very well. Give them TikTokers. Yes. Put them in one big facility and make them dance. That'd be great, wouldn't it? You could use it as your little, your USO to go tour with the Russian troops on the front line. They have poor morale right now. Have them go do TikTok dances. That'd be a sweet-ass deal. And then send them all the Californians to shit all over the fucking streets in Moscow and shoot up and all kinds of stuff. I mean, why not? I mean, California, people could it get any worse? You're already being taxed out the ass. I didn't know this, but Mary and I were, I forget what we were doing the other day. We just bought a ferret, Daisy. She's been with us for like 2 weeks. Wonderful, wonderful pet. Love her to death. Did you know that you need a permit to own a ferret in California? You need a permit from the state to buy a ferret. That's hilarious to me. If you don't like TikTok, don't use TikTok, LOL. I actually have a TikTok, and I got 100-something thousand followers over there. It's not about TikTok. It's about the stupidity that's on TikTok, just like on Twitch and the rest of these places. What a dumb thing to say. Like, D-Ace, I understand that you're trying to be relevant, but you say some really stupid shit. The fact that you think a man and a woman, a man can become a woman just shows your level of intelligence. So I got nothing really left to say to you. Excuse me. That sneeze was me supporting Ukraine. Because apparently we can say anything we do supports Ukraine. Virtually does nothing, though. Transgender men or transgender women are actual women. No, they're not. And transgender men, no, they're not. Lindsey Graham, back in the news again. This dude, like, after this, Lindsey Graham and Mitt Romney's careers should be fucking toast. They should be fucking toast. Graham says, Biden AWOL folded like a cheap suit on MiG transfer. Tuesday, during an appearance on FNC's The Faulkner Focus, Senator Lindsey Graham blasted President Joe Biden's handling of Russian President Vladimir Putin's threats on U.S. involvement in Ukraine. The South Carolina Republican lawmaker called Biden AWOL and said that he was allowing Putin to dictate the terms of U.S. policy regarding the response to Russian invasion of Ukraine. What? I just want it noted that about a year or 2 years ago, Lindsey Graham stood in opposition to the bill that was backed by many people in Congress and a lot of Americans that essentially gave soldiers or military members the right to sue the government for malpractice at the hands of government hospitals. Lindsey Graham stood against it. He lost, but he stood against it. Do you remember this? I remember JT from Black Rifle got me to post about it. He was talking about it. He was working with a lawyer. I forget who the gentleman was that was pushing. I think it was a Green Beret. But I remember this. Lindsey Graham stood adamantly against it, saying, no, you should not have the right to sue the government for malpractice. Lindsey Graham is a shill. This guy is such a cowering piece of shit. He is AWOL. He said he agreed. On March 6th, the Secretary of State said that he would greenlight a transfer of MiGs, Polish MiGs, into Ukraine. We were okay with that. A few days later, when Poland asked us to be a part of the transfer, we folded like a cheap suit. What I think happened is that the Russians told Biden and his team that if you send these MiGs in, that will be an escalation, and we're intimidated by Putin. We can't let Putin determine who's in NATO. We can't let Putin determine what we do to help Ukraine. So no, I think the president folded like a cheap suit. Putin's not determining what we do as far as with Ukraine. It's the involvement of America in an all-out escalated war. What are you talking about? We are responding and reacting to what Putin is doing. That's not dictating terms. Essentially, we're walking on eggshells on a very international level right now. We have to. Like, let me explain something to y'all real quick. We are this close. We are this close from an all-out war. This close. All Biden has to do is fold on one thing, and we are in it. We are in it. And that's not what worries me. It's what's China going to do after that? What are these other countries going to do? What's Iran going to do? We are doing the right thing by supporting from the sidelines. But it won't, all it takes is one decision. One decision, and we are in it. Watch the press. Watch MSM. The emotional hit pieces that are coming left and right. Everything trying to elicit your emotional responses to call for, even Crenshaw's posting about it. I disagree with him. Crenshaw's sharing a lot of this stuff on his platform. I'm watching. Ted Cruz as well. Zelensky emotionally pleading to Congress. And they stand up and they applaud him. This is not our war. I'm telling you, it's not our war. But that's Lindsey Graham. That's what he does. Lindsey Graham is a populist. Pfizer targets seniors in renewed call for fourth coronavirus shot. 1, 2, 3, 4 shots. Very nice. Pfizer and partner BioNTech approached the U.S. regulators Tuesday, renewing their call for authorization to administer a fourth coronavirus shot as a booster for seniors. Currently, the U.S. urges 2 primary shots, followed months later by a booster dose for everyone ages 12 and older. The fresh application seeks to add a fourth shot only for the over 65 population. Pfizer's submission is based on what it calls 2 real-world data sets from Israel analyzed at a time when the Omicron variant was widely circulating. AP reports the Food and Drug Administration and the Centers for Disease Control would have to approve the request. Pfizer CEO Albert Bourla said Tuesday that some people who spread misinformation about COVID-19 vaccines are criminals. They're criminals? Dude, you're a fucking criminal. You serious? Are you serious? Spreading misinformation? You mean like the documentation you tried to keep under wraps for 75 fucking years? The government made you release? And where's Fauci in all this? Why has Fauci been really quiet? Where's Lord Fauci? Hey, you know what we should do? I think that Putin deserves an award, though. I think Putin really does deserve an award if you really think about it. Because once Putin started this war, suddenly coronavirus, gone. Putin single-handedly destroyed coronavirus, COVID. He did. Where's it at? Where's it at? Suddenly the distancing, all this shit, doesn't matter, right? Doesn't matter. Blackjack, thanks for all the subs, man. Weird. Fauci's gone. He's been really quiet. Suddenly COVID isn't such a big deal anymore. Weird. This guy has the audacity that people who spread misinformation on COVID-19 are criminals. Kind of like your company has. Kind of like Fauci has. The government has. Oh, I agree with you. You're all criminals. You're all disgusting. Like Biden and the rest of you have the audacity to go after the oil companies for padding their pockets. What about these vaccine companies? You've made trillions of dollars. You have made trillions of dollars of taxpayer money. And you have the audacity to sit there and say that anyone that spreads misinformation is a criminal. What is misinformation? Please tell me, what is misinformation according to you? Because that science that you claim to have loved for so long has changed so much. Fucking ridiculous. Senator Hawley says, Biden asking teens on TikTok to do his job is irresponsible and like him sharing our intelligence with China. On Tuesday's broadcast, the Fox News channel, Jesse Waters Primetime, Senator Josh Hawley stated that President Joe Biden promoting TikTok by briefing stars on the app is incredibly irresponsible. It is like him sharing our intelligence with Chinese officials and criticizing Biden for failing to take China threat seriously and asking teenagers to do his job for, the first part of that I agree with. It's stupid of Biden to do this, but this is what propaganda does. This is how you do it. You go after the youth. TikTok is a Gen Z app. You'll find millennials on there. You're not going to find a lot of Gen Xers, probably no boomers. It's all Zoomers. That's the youth. They're going after them. Makes sense. The second part, though, as far as sharing intelligence with China, I'm not really sure how you're sharing intelligence with China when you're just essentially parroting the same talking points you've been spouting out for the last month. China knows that. I'm not really sure how this is sharing intelligence with China, unless you're just trying to sensationalize this because you don't like Biden, which, again, to discredit Biden, just relist his points, relist what he's actually done. You don't have to make these inaccurate comparisons. I mean, does he share intelligence with China? I don't know. But through TikTok, no, absolutely not. Hollis said, well, let's just start by saying that this shows just how incompetent President Biden is. Jesse, now you're asking teenagers to do his job for him. I mean, think about that for a second. This is the president of the United States. It's bad enough that he's going around begging dictators to give us oil because he won't allow Americans to produce our own energy. But now he's going to actual teenagers and begging them on a Chinese-owned social media app to do his job. Okay. All right. Fair enough. Holly, where are you with Turning Point? Where are you with the Trump's agenda that did the same thing by going after the conservative youth? They did that. I remember. I almost fell for it. Almost fell for it. There's just nothing but propaganda. Trump loyalism. Every politician does this. This is what social media has created. You have a direct channel to the youth. This is smart on Biden's part. You're going after the youth to feed them more propaganda. We saw Turning Point do it. We saw Candace Owens do it. How do I know this? Well, do you remember all the Jewish Action Leadership Summits, the Black Leadership Summits the Turning Point hosted? Why? Because all it was segregation under the idea that we're under the same banner of conservatism. The reason for this is it's racist if you really think about it, because what you're essentially doing is saying that an entire group of people based upon race or religion think the same way, so they should have their own youth summit. I'm sorry, but if you're a black person and you think differently than a white person based according to your race, there's something wrong there. There's something wrong there. Turning Point did it. Called him out on that one. Said you're not for identity politics, right? But why are you doing it? But this is what social media has created. And naturally, these leaders are going to utilize it. They'd be stupid not to. I think it's a stupid thing for Biden to do, but I'm going to tell you. He's got a direct line now with the youth on TikTok. That's where they're legitimately going to get their information from. The right has played into identity politics no better than the left. By trying to say that certain groups of people, again, according to their skin color, think a certain way is racist at its core. All black people think the same? Is it like a monolith? To where we all like, is it like the Borg in Star Trek that we're all plugged into one big computer and we all think the same? It sure seems that way to a lot of group of people out there on both sides of this political aisle. I think more and more people are waking up to it. Like I remember sitting there for like the last 4 years saying this is what the left is doing. You're just saying it's free speech. You're just saying it's a conservative version. And it's almost like the same argument, like socialism works, it just hasn't been tried the right way. Hey, the racist hive mind's not a real thing when we do it, but you're literally doing the same thing. That's crazy to me. And it's very disingenuous to sit there and think that we all think the same according to our skin color. It's crazy to me. Well. Biden demands faster drop in gas prices as oil tumbles. This is from CNN Business. I saw this. I wanted to read this. This is from CNN Business. Listen to how this article starts. President Joe Biden is using his bully pulpit to call out the tendency for gasoline prices to go up like a rocket when oil spikes, but only drop like a feather when crude crashes. That's interesting that's coming from CNN. Let me read that again for you really quick. Again, this is from CNN. President Joe Biden is using his bully pulpit to call out the tendency for gasoline prices to go up like a rocket when oil spikes, but only drop like a feather when crude crashes. Biden fired off a tweet Wednesday morning highlighting the painfully slow decline in gasoline prices in a bid to draw scrutiny to a decades-long trend that critics says hurts consumers by failing to pass savings along to drivers. He said oil prices are decreasing, gas prices should too. Last time oil was $96 a barrel, gas was $3.62 a gallon. Now it's $4.31. You know why, Joe? This is not hard. This is not a hard thing to understand. These guys are making up profits they've lost. Gas does not immediately fall once the price of oil goes down. It doesn't. It takes time. Biden just wants it to happen now so we can lord this over the populace as a win. It's not a win. This is not a win. Last time oil was $96 a barrel, gas was $3.62 a gallon. The administration's focus on the intricacies of energy prices shows the level of frustration inside the White House with one of the central drivers of high inflation. Gas prices skyrocketed to record highs last week following a spike in crude oil to levels unseen since 2008. Prices at the gas pump are going down, but only very gradually. The national average for regular gas dipped to $4.31 a gallon on Wednesday, according to the AAA. That's down a penny from Tuesday and 2 pennies from Monday. That's despite the fact that Brent oil collapsed by 28% between March 6th intraday peak and Tuesday's close. This is nothing new. The industry even has a nickname for this practice, rockets and feathers. I literally just talked about this. I'm glad they're confirming this. This has been going on for 40 years. Andy Lipow, president of consulting firm Lipow Oil Associates, told CNN, prices do dip. It just seems to take a long time. You can't deny the data that is out there. We've seen this before. But Biden says it should be now. Well, Biden, it's been this way for over 40 years. When the price of oil goes up, prices definitely instantly reflect that. Instantly. When prices go down, of course these oil companies are going to slowly creep it down. They should pay these savings on to the consumer. Why? You didn't. You didn't help. Now you're trying to go after these companies for the situation that you created. Once again proving that corporate greed only exists because government interventionism. Without the government getting involved, those prices would not be the way they are now. They wouldn't. But then you have the audacity to try and demonize these private companies for doing what they do, which is make a profit. Nice. Old or new, Biden isn't a fan, especially after observing this phenomenon last fall when gas prices retreated slowly after the administration released emergency oil reserves and Omicron hit. Try explaining how it's just rockets and feathers to President Biden, and you'd better be ready to hear. And you'd better be ready to hear. That's a bunch of malarkey coming back at you. A senior White House official told CNN. The president is very much within his rights to point out that if you're going to have rockets on the way up, you need to have those rockets on the way down, not feathers. But it may be unreasonable to say pump prices should change instantly just because oil prices do. It takes time for price swings to filter through the supply chain. A gas station owner, and here it is. Here's why. A gas station owner might be selling fuel today that was purchased days earlier. Because again, it's like if I'm buying this bottle of water for $20 and suddenly the market value of said bottle of water drops down to $15. Well, what I bought it for, I'm still taking a loss unless I sell it for what I bought it for, with at least a 40% markup, 40 to 50% depending on what they do. I've got to get rid of the inventory that I bought at a higher price point because I got to continue buying other inventory, correct? So that's why it trickles down slowly. Otherwise, I'm going to take a loss. Makes sense to me. Hey, you know what? According to Psaki and Pete Buttigieg and the rest of them, just buy a Tesla. Simple enough, right? Simple enough. Let them have Teslas. Of course, I have a Tesla, and I'm kind of sitting here laughing at the fact that all the people that talk shit on me on social media is like, oh my God, you bought a Tesla? It's like, sure did. And how much I'm paying in gas? $0. My electric bill went up by about $40 a month. That's it. Now, when I take the Corvette out and I have to buy premium, I filled up the bike the other day. I took the bike out, a little joyride, had to fill it up. Fucking ridiculous. Fucking ridiculous. It was like, I think I have a 5-gallon tank. I have to use premium. Yeah. I was like, good Lord. Good Lord. That's where we're at. All right. Last news story of the day before we give away the tanker. It's kind of a cool news story. I like this. This is interesting. Ancient sarcophagus found under Notre Dame Cathedral in Paris. This has like Indiana Jones themes written all over this shit. But what I will tell you is do not open that sarcophagus. If we've learned nothing from movies like The Mummy or Jurassic, already a bad intro in Twitch, already saying, don't open that sarcophagus. I agree with you. Do not open it. Leave it alone. Don't fuck with it. We're beyond this. We've learned. These archaeologists, stay the fuck away from it. Picture over here on Twitch if you're watching. This is actually really cool. Archaeologists have found an ancient lead sarcophagus under Notre Dame Cathedral along with fragments of a rood screen, offering a new insight into the history of the building, which is currently under reconstruction after a devastating fire. Y'all remember the fire of Notre Dame? I remember that. We were streaming it live on Twitch, too. That was horrible. That was horrible to watch. But it was really cool to see how much money they raised in such a short period of time to reconstruct. Notre Dame, which takes back the 12th century, commissioned the evacuation or excavation works inside the cathedral as a precautionary measure before the installation of scaffolding needed to restore a 100-meter-high wooden ridge. The floor of transept crossing has revealed remains of remarkable scientific quality. France's culture minister Rosalind Bachelet said, adding the excavation works have been extended until March 25th. The excavation site lies under a stony layer that dates from the 18th century, but some lower levels go back as far as the 14th century, and some even the early 13th century. Jesus. I've been to Notre Dame. When I was like 17, I was stationed in Germany. Remember one weekend, a group of us who actually went to France. We rented a car, drove to France, went to Paris, got to visit Notre Dame. It was so cool. It was a beautiful, beautiful cathedral. I still have pictures of it somewhere. Just gorgeous. Christopher Benchier from France's National Archaeological Institute said, we were able to send a small camera inside which showed cloth remains, organic matter such as hair and plant remains. The fact that these plants are still in there indicates the contents have been very well preserved. Got the hiccups. You can see the pictures over at my Twitch chat or Twitch channel. This is a crazy. This is like the blending of olden times with modern times. We have these archaeologists in these white suits, hard hats, standing around these ancient stones with the mummy sarcophagus. That looks like a small sarcophagus now that I look about it. Look at that. That's tiny. But then people were a lot smaller back then as well, for my memory. If my memory serves me correct. Archaeologists said the lead sarcophagus probably belonged to a high dignitary and said it could date back to the 14th century, which, if confirmed, would make it a spectacular find. The excavation also revealed a pit immediately below the cathedral floor, which was likely to have been made around 1230 when Notre Dame, one of the oldest examples of French Gothic, was under construction. The Notre Dame fire shocked France with tearful Parisians and stunned tourists watching in disbelief as the blaze sent the cathedral spire crashing down. Yeah. That's incredible. That's awesome, though. That's like a bit of cool news. I like that. That's interesting to say, but... All right, ladies and gentlemen, that concludes today's podcast. Appreciate you being here. Looking forward to having Josh return. We really appreciate your love and support. Thank you for all the subs, Blackjack in the chat. Appreciate that. Again, we're giving away a tanker today as well as Tipsy's Woodworking. Also, don't forget to check out Shell Shock CBD. Oh, before I forget, do y'all know what tomorrow is? Tomorrow, St. Patrick's Day. It's the day when everyone's fucking Irish. And as a result, we're doing a sale at shellshockcbd.com. A fucking Irish sale. And I can talk like this because I'm part Irish myself. My ancestors actually immigrated over from Ireland. So yes. Tomorrow, or actually I think it's today. I think today around like 3 or 5, we kick off our St. Patrick's Day sale on shellshockcbd.com. And you're asking, John, what does that get me? Well, I'm so glad you asked. Because I'm going to tell you. I can tell you right now. We're going to have 20% off of the Irish Cream Bomb Drop. Actually, I think it's all bomb drops. We have the Rack Out Gummies, the Sleepy Shenanigans bundle, 20% off. It's the Irish Cream CBD oil with a Rack Out Gummy bundle. St. Patrick's Day products that will bring you high Irish out of in you. Shop now. We have a lot of great savings here. Again, this goes from $3.16. It starts today all the way through $3.21. I believe that's Sunday. So that's going to be lasting. So you can stock up on some amazing deals right here, right now. Again, this starts today at around 3. It's the Irish, look at the Irish, St. Patrick's Day special for you. So people were asking when we're going to do our next sale. There you have it. That's starting. We really appreciate all your love and support of shellshockcbd.com. But I appreciate your love on Twitch. We would not be here without you. Thank you. Again, all the subscriptions, bits, donations go directly to Shell Shock CBD. I don't get those. That goes to the company. We sincerely appreciate all of your love and support. And again, make sure you check us out at shellshockcbd.com. All right, Twitch, don't you go anywhere. We're going to end the stream. I'm going to come back on Twitch and Twitch only, and we're going to give away this amazing tankard with some Tipsies & Co. Cologne, body wash, and aftershave. Free, just for being a subscriber on Twitch. Appreciate you. I love you.